Hello everyone, my name is Reggie and today I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite friendships in books. I recently posted a video all about some of my OTPs, but I think I want to talk about a different and just as important kind of relationship that we find in books, and that's friendship. If you're new here, you should definitely hit that subscribe button. I post videos every Tuesday and I try to post videos more times in the week, so by clicking the bell dude, you'll also be notified when I post new videos. I have 10 friendships to talk about today, so let's just get into it. So we'll start off with an obvious one, and that is Harry Potter. Of course, there's the trio, which is an absolutely phenomenal friendship to watch and explore. They develop beautifully, they grew up together, we see a lot of development between their friendship, but I also like the friendship between Harry and Luna. I also really love seeing the Marauders' friendship in the past, especially the friendship between James and Sirius. It's a very close-knit brotherly friendship, and I really like seeing just a lot of the different friendships that do form within all of these books. My next friendship I want to talk about is that between Paige and Nick in the Bone Season. The Bone Season is about a world in which clairvoyancy is illegal, and our main character named Paige works in the underground for clairvoyancy, doing black market-y stuff. The person that kind of took her under their wing when she first joined that world was Nick, and their friendship is explained through flashbacks and through current events, and I just love their friendship in these books. I love the flashbacks in their friendship in this first book, and I absolutely love the way their friendship develops in the second and third book, and I hope to see it develop even more in the coming books. Next up, we have The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. There's a couple of friendships I want to talk about that are within the Bone Season, but first I'll tell you a brief synopsis if you don't know what it's about. This is a historical fiction set during World War II in Germany. We follow Liesel, who has lost her family and is being adopted into this new family. This book is beautifully written, it's narrated by Death, and it's heart-wrenchingly, incredibly well done. I love it so much. So many people's favorite book, and with good reason. I absolutely love the friendship that develops in this book between Liesel and Max, and I also love the friendship between Liesel and Rudy, who is so adorable. Max is more like an older brother kind of friendship, which is really nice to see. Max teaches Liesel a lot about the world and what's happening right now. And her friendship with Rudy is just very pure little kid kind of friendship, and they go on adventures and shenanigans together, and it's so cute. I just love so much of the relationships in this book, and the friendships are a huge part of that. But there's other relationships that are developed in this book that are so beautiful, like the relationship between Liesel and her adopted parents. So much of this book is chock full of really good character interactions. I love it. Next up, I want to talk about the friendship between Alex and PK in The Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis. This is one of my favorite books of all time, as are all of the books I've mentioned and a lot of the books I will be mentioning. The Female of the Species is a very dark, gripping book that tackles rape culture, feminism, just so many amazing, important topics. It's very timely and very profound and very gritty. Alex's older sister was murdered and raped, and we see her kind of dealing with that and internalizing that, but she's very vocal about standing up for things and injustices and talking about things that other people won't. And she's seen as very different in her community. And then we see PK. PK stands for Preacher's Kid, and PK is a girl trying to kind of figure out her place in the world because she's a preacher's kid. She's kind of got that squeaky clean persona, and she doesn't want that, so she's trying to party and she's trying to just kind of figure out her life. And PK and Alex meet at an after-school curricular activity, and they teach each other so much about family relations, about experiences of the world. Alex teaches PK about how to stand up for herself, and PK teaches Alex how to be a friend and how to have relationships with others, because Alex has kind of shut herself off from that after losing her sister in the way she did, and it's just a very unique and beautiful friendship. I really enjoy the way it's explored in this book. Next up, I want to talk about one that might be kind of controversial, and that's Aza and Daisy from Turtles All the Way Down. A lot of people hate Daisy. I love Daisy, and I love her and Aza's relationship and friendship. It seems so realistic to me, which is what I love so much about it. Turtles All the Way Down by John Green is an own voices account of OCD and how that is affecting our main character, Aza's life. Her best friend Daisy is a really constant in her life. Daisy and Aza have these big hiccups in their friendship, as a lot of people do. In fact, most friendships have these things, and they have to get through them. And Aza isn't as invested in Daisy's life in some capacities, and Daisy is somewhat detached and judgmental of Aza. They have these flaws, but they care about each other so much, and it's just so interesting to see their friendship play out. I love Daisy as a character. I really, really do. I know a lot of people don't, but I think she's fantastic, and I really like that her and Aza kind of finally talk about the issues they have and kind of both are able to grow as people and strengthen their friendship. Next up, I wanted to talk about the entire group of friends in The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. Follows our main character, Blue Sergeant, who is a girl who grew up in a family full of clairvoyants, and all of her family members and even clairvoyants outside of her family have basically prophesized that if she kisses her true love, they will die. So she has really closed herself off to relationships and talking to boys and any kind of exploration of that kind of thing until her senior year in high school, where she meets a group of boys, and this is just their friendship and their journey, and it's weird and it's different, but I love them so much. This book is so magical. The friendships, the characters are so perfectly spot on and beautiful and unique, and you read this book for the characters. The characters are absolutely phenomenal. Their friendship is so wonderful. I love them all. Next up, I have another girl duo friendship, and that is Rose and Lissa from The Vampire Academy. The Vampire Academy is a story about a bunch of people who go to an academy for learning how to kind of live in this paranormal world they live in. So we have vampires and we have Maroi, who kind of are protectors of the vampires and the royal bloodlines, and there are a lot of nuances and pieces to this mythology that I won't really get into, but essentially our main character is Rose Hathaway, and she is one of the protectors of the vampires, and her best friend is Lissa, and Lissa is one of the most rare bloodlines of royal vampire, and their friendship and their exploration through these books are very interesting, very genuine. I really like how close they are, how protective they are of each other, how their relationship evolves through the entire series. It's just a really good time. Next up, we have one of my all-time favorites, and that is Fire and Thorns. So the friendship I'm going to talk about in the Fire and Thorns trilogy is between Mara and Alyssa. Alyssa is the main character. She is a protector of the Godstone. Basically, she is a chosen one, and one that comes around only every 100 or so years, chosen by God to do something, nobody knows what specifically, but something profound, moving, that'll change the course of the world, essentially. And Alyssa is an overweight main character, and she goes on a huge journey throughout the course of this story. Her friend Myra is just so wonderful, and they have a couple of scenes in the second book specifically where they talk about things that aren't often discussed in books, or at least weren't when this book was written. Love their friendship and how open they are with each other and how they can discuss these things so wonderfully. And these things I'm talking about are like relationships, sex, contraceptive things about like weight and how spirituality, how they feel, like just so many things, and they discuss so openly and freely, and it's just wonderful. And closing this video off with one of, if not my all-time favorite friendship, especially in YA, and that is the friendship between Queenie and Maddie in Codename Verity. This is another historical fiction set in World War II. This follows a pilot and a spy. They're on a mission and their plane crashes, and Queenie is captured by the Gestapo and interrogated, and we see the story play out from Queenie's point of view in terms of what's happening, and you see a lot of flashbacks and a lot of her life and her story, and a lot of that story is her friendship with Maddie, who was the pilot flying the plane, and it's just heart-wrenching and beautiful and profound, and the friendship in this book is just so astoundingly beautiful, and I love it so much. Those are some of my favorite friendships in books. You should comment down below. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you think of the friendships in them. Also, let me know what one of your favorite friendships in books is, especially if it's not on this list. If you haven't already, you should subscribe. You should also thumbs up this video. That kind of stuff really helps me out. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!
Baby, I beg you, yeah.